In the days of old, when the gods walked among men, there arose a kingdom of unparalleled grandeur and might. Egypt, a land blessed by the divine flow of the Nile. It was an empire known far and wide for its riches, culture, and monuments that soared to the heavens. Skilled were the people of this sacred land, architects of stone and engineers of wisdom. Their hands built temples and pyramids, which stood as eternal symbols of the pharaoh's divine power and the gods' favor. The Nile, giver of life, ran through the heart of Egypt, and from its waters the people drew their strength. The sacred floods of the river nourished the fields, and through the mastery of irrigation, the Egyptians fed their nation and traded with distant lands, securing wealth and prosperity. Amidst this mighty realm arose a queen of unparalleled wit and beauty, Cleopatra, daughter of Pharaoh Ptolemy XII. At the tender age of 18, she ascended the throne, taking her place as co-regent with her younger brother, Ptolemy XIII, as tradition commanded. But their union was strained, for Cleopatra's ambitions far exceeded those of her brother, whose advisors, eunuchs of power, sought to undermine her at every turn. The court seethed with intrigue, and Cleopatra, a woman of boundless resolve, understood that their shared rule could not endure. With the hearts of the people in her grasp, yet shackled by the hands of her brother's advisors, Cleopatra was cast into exile by those who feared her strength. But the gods had not forsaken her, for fate's wheel would turn once more. In the year 48 BC, with the divine fire burning within her, Cleopatra returned to her homeland. She came not as a supplicant, but as a conqueror, with an army at her back, intent on reclaiming her birthright. Her forces clashed with Ptolemy's in the city of Pelusium, and victory was within her grasp. Meanwhile, in distant Rome, the fates of great men intertwined with Egypt's. Julius Caesar, conqueror of Rome, pursued his defeated rival, Pompey, to the shores of Egypt. But the young pharaoh, seeking favor from Caesar, presented him with the severed head of Pompey, a gesture that enraged the Roman. For though Pompey was Caesar's enemy, he was a Roman still, and the gods of Rome frowned upon such indignities. In secret, Cleopatra slipped into Caesar's chambers, veiled in the shadows of night. With her beauty and wisdom, she captivated the great general. In Cleopatra, Caesar saw not just a queen, but a sovereign worthy of his alliance. Together, they struck a bond, one forged by both love and ambition. Caesar, swayed by her charm and recognizing her strength, stood by Cleopatra as she reclaimed her throne. With Caesar's legions at her side, Cleopatra's forces laid siege to Alexandria, and after months of battle, the young pharaoh met his end, swallowed by the Nile. Cleopatra, triumphant, ruled once more as Queen of Egypt, but her story did not end with Caesar's departure to Rome. Their union brought both prosperity and scandal, for Cleopatra bore Caesar's child, and the whispers of their affair reached the ears of Rome's Senate. When Caesar fell to the daggers of his enemies on the Ides of March, Cleopatra mourned not only the man, but the protection his power had afforded her kingdom. As chaos threatened Egypt once more, Cleopatra turned to another Roman power, Mark Antony, Caesar's trusted general. When he arrived in Egypt, Cleopatra greeted him in splendor, sailing down the Nile on a barge of gold, her beauty shining brighter than Ra's own light. Antony, spellbound, became her ally and her lover, and together they forged a bond as strong as the gods' will. But even their love could not withstand the rising storm. In 31 BC, Octavian, Caesar's heir, declared war on Cleopatra and Antony. At the Battle of Actium, their forces crumbled before the might of Rome. Cleopatra, ever the strategist, fled with her fleet, but fate had turned against her. Antony, broken by defeat and misled by false tidings of Cleopatra's death, fell upon his sword, leaving Cleopatra to face her destiny alone. In her final moments, Cleopatra, Queen of Kings, ruler of the two lands, chose death over dishonor. Summoning a serpent, the sacred asp, she allowed its venom to carry her to the afterlife, where she would join the gods. Thus ended the reign of the last pharaoh of Egypt, and with her passing, the gods turned their gaze away from the Nile. Egypt fell into the hands of Rome, but Cleopatra's name lived on, a symbol of power, beauty, and the indomitable will of a queen. Her legend, like the monuments her people built, stands eternal,